Peter Schweizer is the president of the Government Accountability Institute and the author of Invisible Coup. Peter, tell us a little bit about the reconquistador movement in Mexico.
Jesse, great to be with you. The Reconquista movement involves all the leadership of Mexico. I could read to you literally dozens of quotes from Mexican presidents, Mexican senators, prominent people in journalism that say they are using mass migration as a means to reconquer or retake the territories that were lost to them. And this is not just bravado, Jesse. As I point out in the book, they have created an infrastructure in our country. People don't realize that right now in the United States, there are more than a dozen senators and members of their House of Representatives of the Mexican Congress who live in the United States. And their job is to represent Mexicans living in the United States in the Mexican parliament. So they've already starting to take steps to undermine our sovereignty. And that's not even to mention what they're doing with their 53 consulates, which, by the way, is almost 10 times as many as Great Britain has in the United States. They're involved in politics, and they're organizing some of these anti-ICE protests.
Wait, wow. I mean, that's a lot. You're saying that that would be like the United States having congressmen in other countries representing Americans living abroad. You're saying that that's what Mexico's doing here?
Yes, yeah. There's a Senator Ruiz, for example, who sits in the Mexican Senate but lives in Arizona. She's actually proposed legislation to make California a state of Mexico. There's a congressman who lives in Ontario, California, who went across the United States saying he was organizing the militancy to undermine the presidency of Donald Trump. These are all facts and statements that they've made. So we need to understand there is a political infrastructure. It's not just people pouring across the border. It's the political networks that Mexico and other countries have established inside the United States that are undermining our sovereignty.
Yeah, and some Mexicans, you know, they come here peacefully. They just want to work. But at the highest level, it sounds like there's an operation afoot. Tell me a little bit about Cuba. A lot of people don't remember what happened in South Florida when, you know, hundreds of thousands of poor Cubans poured into Miami. What was the objective there?
Well, our government did a report in the early 2000s that looked at what were the most aggressive attacks on the United States in American history. They mentioned 9/11. They mentioned Pearl Harbor. The third one was the Mariel boat lift. 125,000 Cubans came to the United States, but they were seated with psychopaths, criminals, intelligence officers. And Jimmy Carter said when they started to come, we're going to welcome them with open arms. Fidel Castro told his aides, well, then we're going to fill his arms with human excrement. I won't use the word that he used. But this was a weapon. And what our government report concluded, Jesse, is what happened after 9/11? We destroyed al-Qaeda. What happened after Pearl Harbor? We destroyed the Japanese Empire. What happened after the Mariel boat lift? Nothing. Because what do you do with an immigration attack? That lesson from Fidel Castro in 1980 has been replicated by governments like Mexico who have weaponized immigration. Sealing the border, vitally important by Donald Trump, but there is so much more that needs to be done in order to correct the threats that exist in our country still today.